I would like to share with you today a question that has changed my life. And that question is, would I spend a day in a canoe with you? Now you may be asking, what's the story behind this? Let me share. I'm in the wealth management business, and I was about to purchase a firm in Florida, had spent a lot of time working on the deal, and the 11th hour it fell apart. And I was very frustrated. I was put energy, time into this, and the wheels fell off the wagon in the last hour. And in my frustration, I was saying, why did this happen, and what could I have done differently? In the moment of frustration, a memory from when I was 8 years old popped into my head like that. And I was with a farmer in this memory, and I'd spent a lot of time with this gentleman. And I was at his farm one day, and he saw a car go by and said, "Nathan, I wouldn't really spend a day in a canoe with that guy." And what he was pointing out is that there's times where there's not compatibility, and you've got to make choices when it comes to relationships about what works and what doesn't. And that memory just was like a light bulb that went off in my head. And I realized that I was trying to make a deal happen instead of tuning into some of the compatibility issues with the owners, the sellers, and some of the cultural aspects of buying that firm. And it was an amazing lesson. And that was the basis of coming up with a question that I use every day: would I spend a day in a canoe with you? And I hope that you can take this and use it in your situation that you're in. Because the canoe is a metaphor for relationships and the compatibility that is needed. That can apply to everyday decisions about who you spend your time with. It could apply to hiring. It could apply to leadership and project teams that you're putting together at your workplace. It could apply to your family and how you can create good communication and foster something positive that can be experienced by all. So I want to share what I call the Canoe Survival Guide. It's a simple outline of two groups: people to avoid in your canoe and people that you want in your canoe. The people that you avoid, there's 6 of them. First of all, people with baggage. People that literally could sink your canoe. And those people usually have some sort of issues or perspective that, as you build and bring people together, will really have a detrimental influence on the outcome. And that can be so obvious to everyone except that person. And if they're in your canoe, it's really going to make an impact. People that have no integrity. You don't want them in your canoe. You want people that you can trust, have your back, that there's good flow and compatibility in the relationship. And you want to avoid the people that don't value that. There's a saying, your actions are speaking so loudly, I can't really hear what you're saying. You don't want people who are high maintenance. Now, that can mean a lot of different things, but think about spending a day in a canoe with someone who is high maintenance. They may want to stop every minute. They want to check this out. They would check that out. Have an issue. They've got sunscreen, 20 shades of sunscreen, and are constantly adjusting and pivoting in their perspective. That can really slow you down. So you want to think about, how can I avoid those people in my canoe? You want to avoid people who don't play well with others. What's that mean? They might have a chip on their shoulder. They might be bringing a perspective constantly with an opinion or an outlook that really is detrimental to bringing a cohesive team and experience together. You also want to avoid people that suck the life out of you. These people, we call them emotional vampires. They can just take your energy and it's gone. And you want to be with people that give you flow and really motivate and propel you to great things. So avoiding the people and those emotional vampires is really smart when you think about who's going to be in your canoe. I'd like to share 6 people that you want in your canoe. First of all, you want the initiator. Someone who is always looking around the corner and saying, hey, what about this? What about a next opportunity or the next step? And those people can be so helpful for you because they're the ones that are looking out for you and have a perspective that you might not have in the moment. You want someone who's a cheerleader for you, who says, hey, times might be tough, but keep at it. Keep up the good work. It'll get better. And they always seem to bring that ray of sunshine into your life and a breath of fresh air to help you move forward. You also want the skeptic. Now you can say, why would I want a skeptic? Actually, a skeptic is someone that's incredibly valuable. And they're the person that questions, why are we doing this? What about this implication? And they're bringing up really good questions that many times we don't think about because we're so energized about what's around the corner and what's possible that we ignore some of the danger signs. You also want a taskmaster in your canoe. What's that mean? Well, that's the person who's super organized. They'll say, here's our goal, here's our outcome, here's our destination. How do we break it down into the steps and have an action plan and hold you accountable and break things down so that it's clear on what the next steps are. You also want someone who's a connector, someone who can bring relationships into play that are beneficial to you, or see groups of people or organizations or opportunities that, if you just enter into them, can really yield a great benefit for you. And finally, you want a mentor, someone who's been there, done it, willing to share their insights, their takeaways, so that you can learn and get to your destination faster than you would on your own. So the people to avoid in your canoe and the people that you want in your canoe can all be considered on a daily basis by simply asking the question, would I spend a day in a canoe with you?